Okay, hello everyone. Class 12th topic for economics, demand and law of demand I'll be introducing today. First and foremost, why goods have prices? Have you ever wondered why goods have prices? Why the goods are not available free of cost? There are two reasons goods have prices because firstly they are useful, secondly they are available in limited supply, means they are scarce. Okay, we have free goods and we have economic goods. Economic goods are those goods which we buy in the market at for a price. Okay, free goods are gifts of nature which are available in abundance, like air is necessary, is very useful. Okay, but then its supply is unlimited, it's available in abundance. That's why air does not command a price. So free goods are gifts of nature which are useful, no doubt, but they don't command a price. Why they don't command a price? Because they are available freely in abundance, they've got unlimited supply. Okay, on the other hand, economic goods are those goods which have a price because they are useful, and secondly their supply, their availability is limited, means they are scarce. Scarce means limited in supply. We move to the meaning of demand. So demand for a commodity, first of all I'll come to definition later on. Let me just first tell you what is demand. Demand and desire in common language mean the same thing, but for you're studying economics, in economics demand and desire are not the same. Demand is actually effective desire. Example, there's a beggar who's sitting outside a temple and he sees people moving in cars. So he desires, he daydreams that I should be also having a car, but he doesn't work. He doesn't want to work. He can work, but he doesn't want to work hard. Okay, so obviously, and suppose he's dreaming of having a Mercedes. So obviously, it's impossible for him to buy a Mercedes. So here in this case, the beggar is having a simple desire to have Mercedes car. It's not demand. Second example of a person who's rich and that this person has a liking for Mercedes car and he can afford it also. He can easily buy a Mercedes car, but he's a miser person by nature. He doesn't want to spend. He's having Alto and he feels that okay, what is car meant for? For moving from one place to the other, and that purpose is being solved by the Alto he's having. Why to waste money on Mercedes? So he's, although in deep inside he has a desire to buy Mercedes and he has the money, but he is not willing to spend. So in this case also, second example also, it's not effective desire, it's not demand, it's just desire and purchasing power, but willingness to spend is not there. I hope this is clear. Third example, there's a person who's a rich person. This person likes Mercedes car very much and he can afford it easily, and he's also willing to spend money because he wants to live life in his own style. Okay, so this is the case of demand where a person is having a desire to buy a product, he can afford it, he's having the purchasing power to buy that product, and thirdly he's also willing to spend the money to obtain that product. This is the case of demand. Second point to note about demand is that demand is always expressed at a particular price because people buy more of a product when it's cheap and they buy less of a product when it's costly. I'm talking about normal goods. Okay, example, these days are summers. It's a summer season these days, so mangoes are cheap right now. Suppose a person would be willing to buy mangoes when the price of mango is, let's say, 50 rupees per kg. But the same person may not be ready to buy mangoes in off season when imported mangoes are available or Alfonso mangoes are available at a price of, let's say, 300 rupees per kg or 400 rupees per kg, because he'll find it very costly. So remember children, the demand is always expressed at a price. Demand will not make any sense if it is not expressed at a particular price. So different quantities of a commodity will be demanded at different prices. Remember, prices, as the prices of commodities change, the quantities, the consumer will also behave in a different manner, and the consumers will buy different quantities at different prices. Third, demand is always expressed with reference to a particular time period. Demand is a flow concept as it is expressed per unit of time. Remember, it's not a static concept, it's a flow concept. Flow concept means demand is always expressed with with respect to a particular time period. That time period could be per day, could be per week, could be 1 month, could be 1 year. So suppose I go to a car agency over here, let's say Oberoi Motors, and I ask you, okay, what's his demand for cars? Okay, I mean, I want to have an idea how many cars he's able to sell. So that person says, okay, 2 cars. Now, 2 cars doesn't make any sense unless and until he specifies that 2 cars he's able to sell, that agency is able to sell in 1 week, or in 1 day, or per month, or per year. I hope it's clear. So then second example, if I go to a person having a shop, he's dealing in milk and milk products, and I ask him, what is the demand for milk? So when that person will give me an idea about that, how much quantity, how many liters of milk he's selling, he should be specifying to me whether that quantity he's selling per day, okay, or per week, or per month, or per year. So what do we conclude? That demand is an effective desire, and it has to be expressed at a price and with reference to a particular time period. Then let's come to the definition of demand. What is demand? Demand for a commodity refers to the quantities of a commodity which consumers are willing and able to purchase at various possible prices during a particular period of time. So in this definition, all these points which I discussed first are contained. Then we move to types of demand, children. We have 5 points over here: individual demand and market demand, ex ante and ex post demand, joint demand, derived demand, and composite demand. Let's first focus on individual demand and market demand. Listen, children. In an economy, we have, let's say, an individual consumer. An individual consumer basically is having a family. Family, we say household. Okay. So if I go to, let's say, in a colony, and I talk to, let's say, Mr. Mishra, okay, and I give him certain prices, that, okay, I ask him that I'm conducting a survey. I want to know how much quantity of milk will you buy when the price of milk is 40 rupees per kg, or 50 rupees per kg, or 60 rupees per kg, or 80 rupees, and so on and so forth. Are you understanding? I give to Mr. Mishra ji, let's say, 7 different prices of milk, and I ask him how much quantity he would be buying at different prices. Then it becomes an individual demand. Means, now let's come to the definition. Individual demand refers to the quantities of a commodity. In my example, commodity is milk. And who's the individual consumer? In my example, Mr. Mishra ji. And I'm asking him that he should express to me that how much quantity he is going to buy of a commodity. It could be apples, it could be any other thing also. But in my example, milk, at different prices. Willing to purchase at various prices during a given time period. And let's say I say in 1 month. I give him a time of 1 month. During 1 month, how much, or during, or let's say on per day, how much milk will you buy if the price is 40 or 50? So time period I can specify. It could be 1 week, could be per day, per month. So individual demand is also called household demand. So children, to analyze individual demand, we are targeting at one particular consumer. Okay. Now, a market is comprising of not one consumer, but a market comprises of all the consumers. So to find out market demand, what I have to do? Market demand refers to the total quantities of a commodity that all the households are willing to buy at various prices during a given time period. So children, suppose I want to conduct a kind of a survey. I want to find out market demand of milk in an area called Dobhalwala area, where I reside. Dobhalwala area is a colony, big colony. So I want to find out the market demand of milk in Dobhalwala area. So what I have to do for that? In that case, I'll have to find out the various quantities of milk, in my example, and at various prices which various families are going to buy. So let's say I first go to Mishra ji, then I go to Verma ji, then I go to Sharma ji, and I, same kind of questionnaire I give to them to fill up. And then I compile, I add up that, okay, at when the price of milk will be rupees 40, Suppose in that colony 50 households are there, 50 families are there, so I'll add up what will be the total quantity of milk demanded by 50 households at the price of 40, and same thing at when the price of milk rises to 50, what will they demand? That becomes market demand. Market demand refers to the total quantity demanded by all the consumers. We move to ex ante and ex post demand now. Ex ante, the word comes from anticipated demand. It is planned demand basically. So if suppose I ask the lady teachers in a school that, okay, fine, Akshay Tritiya is coming. That's a auspicious day when people buy gold jewelry or silver jewelry. So I go and ask them, ma'am, just please tell me how much you plan to buy at this is the expected price of gold on Akshay Tritiya. How much do you plan to buy of golden jewelry on this coming Akshay Tritiya? And different lady teachers give me in terms of tola, that how much quantity of gold jewelry they are going to buy. This is planned demand, ex ante demand. This is ex ante demand, okay? But then what is ex post demand? To find out ex post demand, I'll have to meet them, the same teachers, after Akshay Tritiya, and I'll find out, ma'am, how much actual gold you purchased on Akshay Tritiya. Means ex post demand is the actual quantity of goods that consumers buy during a particular time period. And children, ex post demand and ex ante demand will not be the same. There are different factors which are responsible for that. So ex post demand means actual demand may be more or less than the ex ante demand. Means whatever a consumer plans to buy may not be the same what he actually buys. Okay. Then we have third point, joint demand. Joint demand refers to demand for two or more goods which are used jointly or demanded together. So if a person is buying let's say a mobile phone for the first time, obviously he will be requiring a SIM card also. Okay. So, I hope this is clear. And then suppose bread and butter. One wants to make sandwich, so one would go and buy bread, and he would, along with bread, he would buy butter or cheese or jam. So these are the products which you buy together. Fourth is derived demand. Demand for a commodity that arises because of the demand for some other commodity is called derived demand. Now, example, when would I buy bricks or cement bags? I will not buy bricks to decorate in my drawing room, or I will not buy cement bags just to put as decoration pieces near my in the outside my house. Okay. Or stones. So bricks, stones and bricks one would demand only when what is happening, he is planning to construct, when construction is going on of a building or of a house. So basically demand for a house or building gives rise to demand for bricks or cement or stones. I hope this is clear. We move to the next one, composite demand. That's the last one. Demand for goods that have many uses is called composite demand. Example, steel is demanded for making utensils. Steel is also used for making cars, coolers, and various other machines. Similarly, suppose Himachal is famous for apples. Apples are consumed directly as fruit, but HPMC is a company, Minchi is also a brand which makes apple products like apple squash, apple crush, and many other things. So, or milk for that matter, milk is consumed directly. With milk you can make curd, paneer, okay, and let's say ghee, so many other things, buttermilk. So when a commodity has many other uses, alternative uses, we say that the commodity has composite demand. So I hope this is clear. With this, I conclude, or let's have a recap, a fast recap. Why goods have prices? Because goods are useful and they are scarce. They are in limited supply. Meaning of demand is the quantity of a commodity which consumers are willing and able to purchase at various possible prices during a particular period of time. Demand is effective desire, means one should be having a desire to buy a product, he should be having purchasing power, he should be able to afford that product, and he should be willing to spend money on that product. And demand is always expressed